Hey, what's up, Spider-Man fans? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. As you can probably tell by the title, today we are making the Miles Morales Prowler mask from Across the Spider-Verse. So the file comes from the Yoast Studios Patreon page. I've already added the magnets to magnetize everything together. It's in the eyes, the back comes apart. But if you're at all familiar with the channel, you know the first thing that we have to do to make this thing pretty is get rid of these layer lines. So let's head out into the garage and get to work. I'm going to start off with 120 grit on my Ryobi mouse sander. You can use regular old sandpaper here like I will later on, but for big flat surfaces like this, the power tool is just a lot more efficient, quicker, and it'll save you some hand pain. The mouse sander can melt the plastic though, so you want to make sure to move around and not stay in one spot for too long. Alright, so I have everything sanded off camera. I went with 180, 220, and 400 just to smooth everything out. And next, typically I either go with automotive primer. This is a Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler in Sandable, and Bondo. Usually I kind of go back and forth. It's just a kind of what I'm feeling at that particular time sort of thing. Sometimes I'll go with the Bondo first. Sometimes I'll go with the filler first. But this time I'm going to go with the filler just because I feel pretty good about how smooth this helmet is. So rather than going over the entire thing with Bondo, hopefully I can spray it and then just have to hit certain parts. So I'm going to get this helmet all broken apart. I'm going to spray it separately. So let's go do that. So we have the helmet all primered. You really only need to give this like a day or two, and I admittedly gave it like 5 because it's hot here in the south in the middle of summer. So sometimes you gotta fight with the motivation to get out here and actually do it. But now that it's all dried and cured, we're gonna start with 180 grit sandpaper, and then we're gonna move to 220, and we're gonna hit the entire helmet. So let's get started. So now that we have the helmet all sanded with 180 and 220, we're gonna move to the Bondo. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna thin it with acetone in this little cup that I always reuse. And we're only gonna hit the spots that really need it. So let me show you that here. You have these really deep areas, and primer is really not going to do anything for that. So we're going to hit these kind of areas, and then you can see here that this little area and then here on the side is all kind of deep. So that's kind of what we're looking for here, and not necessarily like you know, this section right here that's pretty clean. So let's get started on that now. We let the Bondo dry overnight, so now we're gonna go back into it with our 220 grit sandpaper and smooth all that Bondo down. You could use your palm sander. I've used it for larger scale prints before, like whole helmets and things like that, but the thing has so much power that you kind of run the risk of sanding right through all the work you've done, kind of putting you back at where you started. So if you don't want to be like super careful and you just want to get it done, use this. So I've kind of changed my mind about using the mouth sander just in the interest of time, but when you want to use this, I like to use kind of the tip of it and you skate across. You put zero pressure on the piece and you get a spot and you move, and you should be okay. So let's keep going. One more thing to do before we can put paint on this thing, and that is a 400 grit wet sand. So we're gonna hurry up and hit it with a little bit of water. It's finally gonna be time to paint. And the reason that you want to do this is that this is really what gives you the last push to get that super like glass-like smooth finish. I forgot to press record when I showed the paint and painted the first eye, but this is a gloss berry pink by Rust-Oleum. So my original idea for the eyes was to use this little Cosplay LED eye thing that, you know, as you can see, it lights up. But they're a little hard to see through. You just peel back these two little layers right here. But like I said, it's hard to see through. So what I decided on was I'm gonna use the same computer mesh that I used on my Iron Spider helmet. It's a lot easier to see through. So I'm literally just gonna cut some little squares or circles or eye shapes out of this, and I'm gonna literally just tape it into the helmet.
Bye.